Stacy Holzbauer, class of 2000. If we end up getting sick from our hobo stew, we do have a doctor in the house, one who developed a reputation for her ability to trace foodborne illnesses. Only 8 years out of veterinary school, Stacy Holzbauer has distinguished herself in the field of epidemiology, particularly in the research of disease outbreaks. Since 2008, she's worked as a career epidemiologist for the Centers for Disease Control with the Minnesota Department of Health. From 2006 to June 2008, she was Epidemic Intelligence Service Officer with the Centers for Disease Control, also working out of St. Paul, Minnesota. Holzbauer has conducted numerous high-profile public health investigations, her supervisor Kirk Smith says. In 2006, Holzbauer investigated an outbreak of mushroom intoxications in an extended Hmong family in which a 9-year-old child died. Not only did Stacy characterize the outbreak, she coordinated a multimedia educational campaign to educate the large Hmong community of the dangers of eating wild mushrooms. Also in 2006, she investigated an outbreak of E. coli infections associated with shredded iceberg lettuce at a Mexican fast food restaurant chain. She was able to trace the lettuce back to 3 California farms and discovered contamination in a farm's irrigation system, which had become contaminated from 2 dairy farms' manure lagoons. In 2007, she investigated E. coli infections associated with retail ground beef that resulted in the recall of 117,500 pounds of ground beef. In 2009, she was one of 2 recipients of the Centers for Disease Control Award for Excellence in Veterinary Public Health. That was earned from her work as lead investigator during a multi-state outbreak of unexplained neurologic illness associated with pig slaughterhouse workers who used compressed air to extract brains from swine carcasses. No new cases have been identified since this process was stopped. Described by nominator and SDSU Associate Professor Russ Daly as a rising star in the field of epidemiology, Holzbauer was a Briggs Scholar while at State, as well as captain on the women's rugby team. The Wagner native went to Iowa State for veterinary school, where she had some interesting work experiences, such as performing autopsies on mice and pigs, collecting urine samples from racehorses. After earning her Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree in 2002, Holzbauer spent a year as an associate veterinarian in Cresco, Iowa. A decision to then earn a master's degree in public health provided critical in her career. During that year at Iowa State, she worked as an adjunct instructor, took public health coursework, and spent 7 weeks studying in the Amazon basin in Peru. Upon completion of that degree in August 2004, Holzberger was ready to begin her career with the Centers for Disease Control. Her initial CDC position as veterinary medical advisor involved many educational activities, including coordinating the program Get Smart, Know When Antibiotics Work on the Farm. In July 2006, Holzbauer became an Epidemic Intelligence Service Officer for the Centers for Disease Control. In this role, the disease detective conducted high-profile public health investigations. Her supervisor, Kirk Smith, said Holzbauer also played a critical role in the Minnesota Department of Health response to the H1N1 influenza epidemic. She's always been reliable in a crisis, and the influenza epidemic was no exception. Her involvement in the influenza response highlighted many of her strong characteristics, including tireless work ethic, good initiative, sound judgment, exceptional planning, and organizational skills. For her success in the field of epidemiology and protecting our dinner plate, Stacy Holzbauer is honored tonight as the 2010 recipient of the South Dakota State University Distinguished Young Alumni Award.